guys, from Seaside. That is Max on the Busendorfer. Bob Mathis there on that saxophone. We got Jerry Reba there on the drums. And sitting back there, plucking that bass fiddle is our very own Harley. Great job, guys. Way to go. And good morning, Seaside. Well, good morning. Thanks. Yes. Anyway, you feel the place? There's still life hanging out in here. There's an energy. There's a vibrancy. There's a spirit that is alive in the house. That's because we had a great party on Thursday night, and it was fabulous, wasn't it? I'm going to wait a couple minutes till we have a couple more here so we can thank them. But what I am going to do right now is something we do at the beginning of every service. We invite a practitioner out to be the custodian and the holder of the light. And it's symbolic of the individual who is that vortex in which that spirit moves through and brings a brightness and a lightness. And today we have heading up the one who heads up our educational department, and that is Deb Sadler. And just thank you for your wonderful educational direction to Seaside. And I know you've got sacred circles that are starting today, so you encourage everybody to just sign up. No cost. That's the way we like it around here. Like in a neighborhood near them on a convenient time, and it just takes the Sunday message to a deeper place. So you're doing a great job with education, and we thank you for that. And I know your spring catalog's coming up, so if anybody wants to submit a class, Reverend Brian, to talk to Deb Sadler, and I know you are putting together a catalog at this point. The light has been lit, and there you go. And just so you know, that is our prayer center back there. So if you have a prayer request, go ahead, fill out a prayer request form, put it in the prayer chest, and what happens is it gets prayed on every day by spiritual practitioners for a week. It gets sent out on Sunday afternoon, and the practitioners will pray on it all week. And if you want a prayer today from somebody, you go back there, and the practitioners are standing there, and they would love to do a prayer with you. So take advantage of that. There's no cost. It is just there and available. And so our wonderful announcer on Sunday morning, Catherine Cespetes, was really the one who oversaw our whole red carpet event here. We exhausted her. I told her to stay home today. Since you're losing an hour, you might as well gain another 23. So that's what we do right here is we expand spirit. So I get to do the wonderful announcements. I was given this announcement page that is organized every week for the announcers, since they don't really, I won't say trust me, they just know that in my fullness of expression, I may not hit all the points. But hey, the first one that we've got marked is, I did that with Deb Sadler, the education, the sacred circles. But Dr. Kathy's class, the second half of Emma, is starting this week, so you want to sign up for that. Also on Fridays, you've got the women's spirit dance. They've only got a couple left. There's about a dozen women showing up for that. So join Callie on Fridays at about 10 o'clock for the spirit dance. It is wild, it is crazy, but I'm not allowed to look. So it's a women's only kind of thing. But the men have their men's only thing. Saturday, you got the men's breakfast group. 30 guys get together and they eat meat and eggs and potatoes. And I'm not telling you what goes on, but there is the brotherhood that is happening with that. Then also our shelter. You know, one of the great things that Seaside does is we're part of the San Diego Interfaith Rotational Shelter. For those that are without a home these days that have been screened by the Community Resource Center, they move from a different center or church or synagogue or temple for 2-week periods of time. And Seaside's hosting it as we do every year, and it's March 31st into April. And so there's a number of places that are available that you can sign up, whether it's bring a meal, whether it is to host, whether it's spend the night, whether it is to whatever it is. So talk to Karen or Sonny or Mike out there and sign up and participate with that. That's going on, and that's one of the things I'm really proud of around here. Also, new members. If you want to become a member, I'm doing a class March 31st, so go ahead, take your sign-up form, give it to Susan, who's at the new member table, and whose head's getting patted, and that's happening. Also, big news on the 16th, that's Saturday. I've got this whole flyer, but Doug DeStefano, who's been part of Seaside from the beginning, he's 2 decades been throwing these wild parties, and it's this true goddess gathering that is happening here. He's invited our Seaside sisters. Callie's opening the whole event with some ritual, but it's Alyssa Stowe, you may know her in the Shakti tribe. They're doing their thing here that evening along with Donna DeLore. She used to sing with Madonna before she started doing the kirtan, and her band is going to be here. It's going to be a powerful night. They got goddess wear. They've got all sorts of different things and jewelry. It's just a wonderful event. And then following that, in the next week, Callie is doing her Heart to Lead class. It's been a couple years. I know they've been asking, and you only got a couple spots left because Callie's one who says, I'm only taking so many, and then that's it. And so there's only so many seats left. But it allows you to lead from your heart and your soul and your spirit and the goddess. And so talk to Callie. Is there anything else I should be saying on that? And that will work. Okay, so take that opportunity to see her. I'll tell you more about Ricky Byers maybe later in this. And that seems to be everything that I am supposed to be sharing with you at this time. And if not, they will give me a note between services and say, but during the service, say, Christian, check that out. But I'll tell you what, why don't you stand up, say hello to that person that is next to you, and let them know how much you love them. Made it back. I'm glad. Good to see you. All right, you too.
Good morning, Seaside. Please remain standing for the congregational song. We're going to do a brand new song for you that was written by Gary Lynn Floyd and Jamie Lula, and they always bring such great music, so we wanted to bring it to Seaside. Hope you enjoy.
In the name of love, with a heart of praise, overflowing us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love.
Next session.
When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love, when the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love.
Yes, Seaside. Verse 2.
In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best till we all are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one in the name of love.
Now here's another part. Check it out.
In the name of love, in the name of love.
Sing that with us once again.
In the name of love, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love, when the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love,
One more time.
when the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love, when the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love.
Back to that up.
In the name of love. In the name of love.
Oh, yeah. Sing it again.
In the name of love. In the name of love.
Sing it again, Seaside.
In the name of love. In the name of love. Yeah. In the name of love. In the name of love.
In the name of love.
In the name of love.
One more time, say.
In the name of love.
Yes, Seaside.
Woo, all right. Gary, man, you wrote that one. That was good. We ended the convention with that, right? Yeah, nice job. It's fun to have the songwriter, leading that for sure. Great job. Tuesday night with the music department, all the singers and musicians. It was fabulous. That was just over the top wonderful. That was good. And Rebecca, we missed you. Hopefully,
missed you all too.
Where were you?
I was in Puerto Rico,
okay.
and I was in the Caribbean.
Working, right?
Working,
Yeah.
mostly. Snorkeling for the first time. I went snorkeling for the first time
Yeah,
in the
woo.
Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing.
Oh, sweet. Well, we missed you.
I missed you all too. I really, really did. I came back here to be all with you too.
That's good. Well,
I love y'all.
I called you on the ship and said, hey, come on down. Anyway, also, Thursday night, if you weren't here, it was incredible, over the top. Took a lot of hands. And Susan, you want to stand up for organizing all the out there, red carpet, all those things? And everyone that helped out with Susan, would you stand if you had any involvement that night? Let us stand up so we can say thank you, we love you, we appreciate you. I was so proud of Seaside. We just got live streamed across the nation and the planet. The whole convention that has always been local went virtual, really for the first time, and it closed up here at Seaside. And all you guys did us proud. So thank you very much for that. And let's keep the prayer stuff going here. We have a wonderful practitioner of more than 2 decades here at Seaside. That means it's about time for an emeritus consideration. Not that I have any power over it, but in my heart, you're there already. This is the wonderful Kathleen Lees.
Please join me in the stillness. My heart, my being, my entire spirit is filled with joy. Being here in the name of love, as we are created, the love, the life, and the glory, we all are one. Knowing that my oneness is only a part of the whole oneness. I stand here in grace and peace and acknowledge and am grateful for this space that we have created together so that we can do that. We can project out into the universe, and we can go to the Bahamas, and we can go to visit our families, but we always have Seaside, this spiritual home, this family, and the acceptance that we all know we have when we're in this space. So knowing that Reverend Dr. Christian's words will take us further into that oneness, into that peace, into that joy, so that everything we do, we truly do in the name of love.
Breathe in, let the power of love fulfill you. Breathe out, let the troubles of life be gone. Release all the worries you have for tomorrow. Look within, let's begin as one. Breathe in, let the power of love fulfill you. Breathe out, let the troubles of life be gone. Release all the worries you have for tomorrow. Look within, let's begin as one.
Thank you, Master Practitioner Kathleen Lees and our famous Rebecca Jade for starting us out in such a beautiful space. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you this, but she's getting on an airplane at 2:15 this afternoon to go to Minneapolis. So, I mean, what dedication. Thank you, Rebecca. So I'm Reverend Christina Tillotson, and it's my honor to especially welcome you if you're new to this faith, this way of life, this philosophy here at Seaside Center for Spiritual Living. We're so grateful that you set your clocks forward so you could be here, and thank you for being here. And as you go out the back, we have a table with a packet on it with a CD and some information about us, a little bit about what we believe, who our spiritual practitioners are, and a gift certificate to the bookstore. So just thank you so much for being here and sharing your light and your love with us today. As Dr. Christian said, we just came off of a week of convention, and the convention is for Centers for Spiritual Living, which is our worldwide organization at which we're affiliated with. And it's out of Golden, Colorado. I don't know if my statistics are correct from the business meeting of the convention that was online, and I got to watch from my home. Thank you, God. And it was. I think we have about 426 communities all over the world in about 20 countries. And so you are part of this worldwide organization whose vision is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence for a world that works for everyone. So thank you so much for being here. And I was so excited about the convention because for the first time, because it was online, all of our members could come to the convention no matter where they were. So it was really cool. So we saw ministerial students, saw online students, saw all kinds of people. It was just really, really wonderful from the convenience of one's home, and then to end it here at Seaside, what a blessing. So thank you, everybody, for being part of this amazing, amazing community. So the reading I've chosen for today, because Dr. Christian is talking about coming from the divine for healing, this is all about the divine. And it's written by Dr. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of our philosophy and faith and way of life. And this is called Your Invisible Power. I am that I am. I am the eternal presence of your own self. Your true self constitutes the only mediator between the visible and the invisible. I am that self. Be still, then, and know that you are one with me, and my being is you, is your personality. It is also your body, mind, and spirit. Every cell of your body, every thought of your mind, every glory of your spirit. Hence, that which you have so ardently sought after has never been separated from you for one moment. My desire within you to be expressed has been the motivating power impelling and compelling you evermore to reach out and up and up. The illusion which you suffer and the grief you bear is not because you are separated from me, but because you do not realize that you are forever united with me. For I am the center of your being, and being that which you are, I am forever personifying myself in you as you. At the center of your comprehending mind, I, the all, the infinite, the impersonal, am individualized and personified. Therefore, the I am, which speaks, is the real you, your true self. From the mightiest form to the smallest atom, in you and in all, in animal, vegetable, and mineral kingdoms, my intelligence projects all. My power envelops all. My life animates all. So thank you. So let's take these ideas into prayer. Just going to that place of that oneness, that place of love, that place out of which everything that is made, that I call God, that infinite power of all universes, continually creating forms and atoms and things and universes out of itself in every sacred infinite day. That is who I am, and each person here and each person coming in through the internet is. Perfect expressions of that light and that love and that wisdom and that wholeness as spirit right here and right now in human form. And so I'm knowing for this sacred time together that that light and that love and that wholeness of spirit flows through and as each one, allowing healing in bodies and minds and spirits and affairs and in counties and states and countries and the world, just allowing that healing to become revealed because it is already there. And I just gratefully accept this as the truth of this sacred time together as I release this word to the law, knowing that it's now done in perfect wholeness and love and oneness. And so it is. Amen.
Beautiful words. Good morning, Seaside. Well, it is my honor to introduce our guest artist, and I love when he is here. We are so grateful. I'm very grateful, and I think you all are too. The music that he brings to us, it's always beautiful and new. He's got 2 new songs to share with us today. I wanted to share that he, not only does he tour and travel all over the country, so all the more reason I'm so grateful that he makes a stop to be here with us at Seaside. He was also recently awarded an arts award that's given through the CSL, through our community, CSL community, that's given to somebody who has a great body of work that contributes musically to CSL, and he was awarded that very recently, so much deserved. So I just personally love it when he's here, and so we're gonna do a couple of his songs this morning. He also has upcoming, and it's called Soar, and it's a retreat that he does, and so he's just involved in everything, and we're so grateful that he's made a stop to be here with us at Seaside. Without further ado, Gary Lynn Floyd.
Great to be back. I'm still here. Walk a mile or a minute in another man's shoes. He's got a path to take to find his truth. Any way you spin it, he's a lot like you, finding his faith on roads that you'd never choose. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always. Let go the old condition. Love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. on walking. Tell a tale, you're in it, hear a brother man's blues. You got a destination now and no excuse. Why do you condemn it when it's not your own? You can't unsee it once the light has shone. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always. Let go the old condition. Love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Now this is your part. It goes by fast, but you'll get it. It goes like this. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Try it with us. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always, always. Let go the old condition. Love is your only mission always. Yeah, yeah. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always, always. Let go the old condition. Love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Sing it with us. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Couple more times. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking.
Brand new song.
Thank you, guys.
That is Gary Lynn Floyd, making the most of all our music department, man. Nice job with that. Gary Lynn, right there. Love ya. He actually sticks around and listens to my talks, too. You know, that's not two of them. You're going to really be able to get this down. Yeah? I like that. I like that. So, hey, welcome to Seaside. We are beginning a series here today, a 7-week series. It kind of goes along with Lent. You ever hear that? A few of you. The rest of us are, new thoughters, never heard of such thing. But I'll tell you, usually what happens during the Lent season is you give something up for Lent, right? Those of you that remember, you give. But see, we're a little different. Instead of giving something up for Lent, we're going to do Lent in reverse. And what we're going to do is embrace something. We're going to embrace our greater good rather than focusing on, I don't want this, I don't want it, I don't want it. And so to support that, over the next 7 weeks, we've created this series called The 7 Keys to Healing. So I'm going to be giving you a key every week, like today's key is Sing as God Sees. And going to give you also the opportunity to take this message to a deeper level, because what we have established are the sacred circles that I mentioned earlier. For those of you that actually got here for the announcements, I alluded to the sacred circles and encourage you to go sign up. There's no cost. It's free. It's complimentary. Call it what you will. It doesn't cost you anything is the bottom line with that. And what it is our practitioners are taking this message to a deeper level. They have this about an hour and 15-minute curriculum they facilitate with questions and meditations, and it ends that night after talking about this message at a deeper level about seeing as God sees. They end up by taking you into prayer, but they ask you what greater good do you want to embrace, and that's what the prayer will be about. And so I encourage you to sign up for the Sacred Circles, because trying to give something up tends to put our focus on it. Oh, I had this because I was reading Ernest Holmes' quote. So let's say if, I don't know, you got too much weight on your body or something. And so instead, I want to, get rid of this. I'm giving up the weight. I'm giving up the poor eating habits. Instead, what you're going to do is embrace, I got a healthy body. My body's balanced. It's perfect. I love my body kind of embracement. Or you're dealing with addictions. I hear people saying, my grandma had addictions. My mom had addictions. It's not looking too good for me. I say, give that one up. Embrace what it is you want. Freedom, creativity, greater self-expression. You want more love in your life. Don't give up. Oh, I'm no longer going to be alone, but I'm surrounded by love and friends. And so Ernest Holmes says in the very first week of our Sacred Circles, which happened to be written by Eileen Pierce this week, she wrote and brought this Ernest Holmes quote, which is perfect for today's topic, which I long ago left up there, left it behind. But today's message is coming from the divine for healing. And Ernest wrote, the perception of wholeness is the consciousness of healing. So perfect. The consciousness of wholeness is the perception of healing. So today's message is really about coming from God for healing. And when I first presented that idea to our curriculum writers, they said, huh? Like, what does that mean? Coming from God for healing. I said, well, the challenge is that so often we're going to God for something. So often is we're coming from not having, and so I'm going to God to get. And what I want is outside of myself. People who help individuals do goals and visions these days says you got to get there and come from that place of vision and goal. Well, if you want healing in your life, that's what we say also. You got to come from that perception of wholeness that Ernest is talking about. You got to come from that place of embodying the greater good. Does that make sense? Yeah. I just made it so simple. I like that. So, here's a great story. Actually, I'm stealing it from Dr. Roger, but he was here on the Thursday night, so I think it's okay. It's in the front of his book, Living from Joy. I think Lisa got a couple left, I don't know. But he writes this wonderful analogy about a seeker who all of his life, seeked fame, fortune, money, creativity. And all through life, there wasn't really that deep sense of fulfillment. And after a time of seeking those exterior things, there was this hollowness. And so his soul started yearning, and he started trying to find a spiritual teacher. And he looked, and nothing seemed to resonate with him. All of a sudden, he heard of this great sage, the one who brought forth the mystic, the one who was just the spiritual impetus for greater realization, wanted to go visit this person, but it was hard to find this person because it never gave a private audience with anybody. But he went out on this journey, spent a couple of weeks traveling, looking for this, finally found the way into the woods to the encampment of this great spiritual sage. And asked, please, can I have the private audience? They said, it just doesn't happen. And pushed, and all of a sudden, one night, it said, it's been granted. And so just beside himself, he went out to the campfire, and there was this person sitting by the campfire in the white robe and the hood, and just got down and just said, thank you, and started sharing all the reasons and the challenges of its life, and went through the litany, and just eventually broke into tears. And this person looked, and when it was done, and pulled back the hood, and he was shocked to discover that it was a woman. And he looked into the eyes of this goddess and saw the feminine in its beauty as well as its power, in its youthfulness as well as its wizened expression. And she said that I don't have a simple answer for you, but what I do have is an experience if you so want to go on this journey. You may not return. It could be the end of you, as you know. And he said, I'll go. I came this far. And so she took her hands and put them on his forehead. And he was like propelled into this alternative reality, just falling down this deep shaft of darkness and landing on the floor. And as his eyes began to acclimate, he realized he was in this dark hollowness of a cave. It was pitch black. He could hardly see, could just sense the cave and the ground. And it was alone and by himself and couldn't figure out how to get out. Would go feel the walls. Where's the opening here? And there was none. And time just seemed to pass, other than occasional meal that would just miraculously or magically appear. He would eat. That was the only way he could keep track of the days as they passed. And he'd even try to climb the walls to get out. And he used his power to try to get out of there. And all of a sudden the anger filled him, and he was yelling and cursing God and the sage and himself and the campfire for this prolonged darkness that he was absolutely stuck in. And he fell to the ground, and then something shifted inside of him, and he realized that this approach to trying to make things happen with his anger, with his strength and pushing and trying to make it, was no longer really the answer. And something in him shifted, and it was in that moment that he surrendered and realized that he cannot bully his way through life any longer and make things happen. And it was in this surrendering that he began to notice a little light. But what he noticed is that this little bit of light was inside of him. And that as he began to put his focus and awareness on this life wasn't about trying to get out, but rather it was about becoming that light, becoming and embracing that. And as that light began to expand within him, he began to grow and to enlarge and to fill that cave with his essence and with his presence. And what began to happen is he began to grow bigger than that cave. And as he continued to grow, he realized it wasn't about getting out, but it was rather becoming more of that presence. And he began to recognize that that darkness in that cave wasn't something that he was in, but rather it was something that was inside of him, and that he became so large in his essence that it became such a small part of his inner journey that was no longer what he was about. He began to see as God sees. He was no longer focused on the dark. He was no longer fighting the dragons. He was no longer trying to get something out there, but he was rather allowing himself to come from, to be that essence, to be that light. And he began to see as God sees, and he became so much greater than that difficulty and the challenge that he was in. God is magnificent. I mean, parts the Red Sea. That's pretty good stuff. You know, he gives sight back to the blind. I mean, not just anybody can do that. Heal the sick. And as we allow ourselves to grow into that, as opposed to focusing in on the pain, the difficulty, the darkness, what isn't working, these are experiences that have happened in our life, but we've got to believe that I can see as God sees, and that the limitation or the challenge, the sickness or the scarcity or the constriction is not the truth. It's the dark cave that I'm focusing on and trying to fight, as opposed to allow that spirit that was within to grow bigger than the experience that is taking place in this world. I was in Montana, as you know, last week. I was with my neighbors, and they have this bird feeder. And they put out the seeds in the middle of winter. I didn't know there were birds that would flew around in sub-zero weather, but summer they're around. You know, and they flock to it. And then it snows and gets covered, so they put a little roof on this bird feeder. And the birds go in there, and they scurry, and they eat up those seeds really fast. And when it gets to the end, the birds start like fighting each other for the last seeds in the middle of winter. It's like, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And that's like, I want to say, hey, guys, stop fighting. There's more seeds inside. I want to grab more seeds and stop fighting, and let me bring you. There's plenty here. Well, that's what we do with our life, is we get into the fear of scarcity that it's possibly could run out. We get stuck in that cave. We become imprisoned by our own mind and our own thinking. We forget that we are so much larger than that difficulty, you know. But what happens on our spiritual path is it's a dance. We kind of oscillate. I get it, man. See as God sees. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, whoa, this is really bad. You know, it's the dance between being clear and being confused. It is the difference between wholeness and the fragmentation. We kind of go back and forth between big-hearted and little-mindedness. And what's important is that we learn how to ride the currents of the changes, as opposed to being thrown off course into the eddy, you know, and drowning or captured by whatever we feel imprisoned by. We're the ones who get to decide that, whoa, this is what's going on. And to move from woe is me to wow is me. Man. When it appears that time is running out, it's up to us to realize this is when God is running in to our life to make the difference. But I got to see as God sees here. That's the key to healing in our life, to be able to come from that all-seeing eye of the divine presence and then put it into action. William James, father of modern-day psychology, said, act as if what you do makes a difference. Imagine if you paid attention to all your actions and you realize this is making a difference. Somehow we're all connected. There is this string of connectivity. And what I do here is making a difference everywhere, some way, somehow. And so I'm going to realize that. I'm going to realize that I've been born to manifest the glory of God. Oh, that's a good affirmation. Let's say that together. I am born to manifest the glory of God. Again, I am born to manifest the glory of God. Touch your heart and say it again. I am born to manifest the glory of God. How does that feel? Woo! You better make sure your actions are making a difference. Friday was International Women's Day. It's annually since 1911. I think you like that, huh? The theme was balance for the better. It's like coming back into the balance of the masculine, the feminine. It takes all of us, the totality, the yin and the yang, to make it all happen. And it's for us to be able to find the courage within inside of us, not woe is me, but wow, count me in. What I'm going to do is going to make a difference. I'm going to see as God sees here, and I'm going to step out in a way that's a little stretch for me. We have living room conversations today. I encourage you to stick around, get some food at the food truck, and sit in one of these charged conversations. We're not saying this is the right perspective. What we are doing is inviting a safe environment so people can share their different perspectives without attack, but in a safe environment that can help us understand both sides of the story and the equation. So it's a national organization that 14 different youth thought centers in San Diego are doing today. And so I encourage you to stick around for that. But so yeah, that's where I was going. I got sidetracked. Sorry. So yeah, you want to do things that are like on the edge of your comfort. Should? What are they going to think? Mark Twain, well-told quote. So I got to get right. And he said, and you'll remember this one because people use it all the time. But 20 years from now, you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to be disappointed over the things you didn't do, rather than the things you did do. So, yeah, that's good. He then went on to say, so 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed over things you didn't do than you did do. So, throw the bow line off. Cast off from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. Do you want to explore, dream, and discover? You got to let go of where you are. You got to say, you know what? God's out there in the horizon just as much as where it is I'm standing. I know this is holy ground because I read it in the black book. But you know what? It's like out there's as much God because it is omnipresent and it is new, it is different, it is evolving, it is emerging, it is great, it is grand, it is magnificent. And I have come to help glorify that, to bring it into expression, because without you, it would be unexpressed. It would just be divine potential, which is a good thing, but it's potential, which is a lot different than an actual thing that is showing up and happening. But it takes some risk in our life. Imagine if you refuse to risk walking, or if you refuse to risk riding a bike, or going to school, or making that first kiss with your first love. You've got to be willing to do that, because all new good shows up because there is a risk or a stretch that has been taken. I mean, you might remember when we first started doing videos here, and Tim was spending hours every Sunday putting up online. But he was in a place to go with live streaming. It was a risk. When you remember live streaming, we were falling off all the time, and it wasn't going so well. And all of a sudden, this week, we were 3 cameras, different locations across the nation and the globe, because we were willing to take a risk and fall and stumble along the way. So we are positioning ourselves into a place in which we can deliver Spirit in a greater way to a greater audience, audience that may not be able to be here, but you know what? They're here in spirit. They're here virtually. And so we've got to be willing to take the risk. And I've got this wonderful quote by the famous author Anonymous. And this androgynous individual wrote, don't know if it's a he or she, but it said, to laugh is to appear the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out for another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk rejection. To place your ideas and your dreams before a crowd, I assure you, is a risk to ridicule. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To go forward in the face of overwhelming odds is to risk failure. But risking must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, and is nothing. One may avoid suffering and sorrow, but cannot learn, feel, change, grow, love, and live. Chained by our certitudes, one is a slave who has fortified their freedom. Only a person who risks is free. I love what Napoleon Hill said. He's the one who wrote Think and Grow Rich. He said, it is always your next move. You like that? It's always your next move. What are you going to do? You're going to risk here, or are you going to make the reasons why it's probably just best for me not to stretch, to march, to express, to get involved, whatever. Or am I willing to take this risk and step out into that next place and do what's stirring in my soul? Hey, there was this principal who got a call one morning at his school, and his voice said, Tommy Jones isn't going to be in school today. And the principal said, and who's calling? And kind of nervously said, this is my father. Nothing risked, nothing gained, you know. But that's what a lot of us are trying to do, is play hooky with life, not get in the game, try to stand back, which is why sometimes you get thrown into that cave and brought to your knees, whether it's through pain of the heart, pain of the body, difficulty in the finances. You're brought to the knees and you realize I can no longer muscle my way into making it happen like the old rah-rah motivational speakers would have us do, but rather I'm brought to my knees in the darkness of my being so I can discover this light that is beginning to shine with inside my being, that is beginning to become a little bit brighter somehow, that I have got to listen to that. You know, Gideon, that guy that from the Bible. I remember. I was just thinking of all the ones that are in the hotels named after him. But here is a guy who had to face the Mennonites. And they had their army and two other armies. And so Gideon went to God, hey, I need help here. I don't quite how I get. So he put a call out to all the countryside, to his people. And he had 35,000 soldiers show up. But those other three armies had 135,000. He's not feeling good about these 1-to-4 odds here. You know, it's like, God, come on, tell me what I need to do here. And God said, I tell you to send everybody home who's afraid. So Gideon went to his guy and said, whoever's afraid, you can leave. 22,000 of them left. 2/3. Gideon's really not feeling good at this point. He's got hardly any left to look at an army of over 100,000 guys. He said, God, what else? He said, let more go, let go. It finally got down to only 300 people left. You talk about a massacre waiting to happen. Gideon said, this isn't going to turn out well, God. God says it's going to be okay. See, this is why I say we got to see as God sees. This is why our prayers have to come from the God perspective. We got to come from God, that there's an answer here, that I may not know it, but you know, if I'm coming from God that can see all things as omniscience, not bound up with time, space kind of thing, you know, I can trust. And what happened is he took his 300 guys and went into the camp of these 135,000 soldiers and started blowing the bugles around the camp in the blackness of night, started screaming and hollering, and every soldiers on the other side jumped up and didn't know who was coming. They thought it was this huge army, and they started killing each other. They were confused. They were all wiped out, and hardly any of Gideon's guys were hurt. Now, I didn't see that coming, but Spirit does. You know, if I can begin to see as Spirit sees, Gideon walks into towns now, and the armies of the other towns used to attack, they let him alone. Not because they were scared of Gideon. They were afraid of Gideon's God. People don't need to be afraid of our God because our God is a loving God, but I want our problems, our challenges to know that our God, our presence is far greater than the smallness that is operating within that small field of the God consciousness. That little darkness is within me. It is not the truth of what is going on, and I'm going to see as God sees. I'm going to experience healing in my life in any particular arena. And as I begin to go for that, I'm willing to give up my addiction to mediocrity. I'm willing to let go of just being the norm, fitting in and making things work in the typical way. Michael Beckwith would talk about creative maladjustment. That I am not adjusted to the particular structure of this world, but I'm going to be that creative expression for the presence of God to move through in a greater kind of way. I am not going to be hooked to my mediocrity or well adjusted to a world of constrictions and typical expression, but rather I'm going to begin to bring forth something that not everybody sees. That's what I'm being called to do here. I mean, I may get in trouble along the way. Albert Einstein said, I've had arrows of hatred shot at me, but none have ever hit me whatsoever because they come and belong to another world of which I am not connected with in any way. Monet, the Impressionist artist, painted things that were not necessarily realistic. They painted, Kathleen was sharing with me, light. They didn't paint the chair. They painted the light spots that came off the chair. So it wasn't realistic. It was a reflection of the light. And people would talk about, oh, Monet, what does that symbolize, that rock? What does that flower symbolize? And he wasn't big on giving interviews. Finally, he succumbed, and he said, what does it symbolize? He says, it symbolizes nothing. It's what I see. It's like, wow. This is what he sees, light reflecting off the different objects. If there was no light, he wouldn't see it. But what he sees is a light, like Van Gogh, who used to see things shimmer. These individuals stuck around long enough to be with that presence of God, to see as God sees something greater as everybody else left and went home. They were connected. Here's a good question for your home assignment this week to work on. Ask yourself, give yourself some time to answer this, but ask yourself, what's running me? What is guiding, directing me? What's running me? Is it the fears? I'm afraid I'm going to have too much weight or not have enough money. Or am I embracing rather than trying to deny and fight the darkness, but rather am I going to embrace the perfect balance, the perfect weight, the perfect light, the perfect flow? What is running me? What am I choosing to see? Am I going to stick around long enough so I can begin? I heard a wonderful piece from one of the new ministers who spoke on the virtual convention. It's from Baltimore, Reverend Ray. And he shared it at the convention on opening night it was. He said, when someone asks you, who are you? In response, 6'2", blonde hair, blue eyes, not as blonde or blue as I used to be, but, it's a husband, a dad, a minister, a writer, speaker. Eventually you get down to, I'm spirit. I'm spirit expressing. I'm the divine, wise, all-knowing, infinite expression of. His suggestion is, why don't you put that on the top of the list? So the first thing that comes out of you is, I'm spirit expressing. I have been born to magnify and manifest the glory of God in this world, and everything I do is going to make a difference because I'm coming from God. So what's coming down to me is a divine expression. I'm seeing as Spirit sees. I got these divine glasses on, and I am knowing the spiritual truth that is happening right here, right now. And people can shoot arrows at me, but you know what? They're not hidden because I am not part of that. I'm part of something more. And as we continue to emerge and evolve, we got to let some things, go back in the cave that don't serve us. But just because we're letting things go as things emerge doesn't necessarily mean how they supported us. Some of those things still need to be supported. And what I'm talking about is how we have accumulated a lot more knowledge and internalized less. We experience less and have a lot more on our Google Drive or on our exterior brain in the palm of our hand called iPhone. We have more, and yet we experience less. Before planes and cameras, if you wanted to experience a mountaintop, you had to go there. Right? You had to make that hike and climb up there so you could have that view. No one could show you a picture of it. Now, you may sit there and draw this picture. You may take a half a day to draw this beautiful, but you had the experience of drawing that. You were experience mountain. Now, I'm not opposed to planes and trains and automobiles, cameras and all those things. But I want us to get that in our era where we've got cars and elevators and power tools, which I support 100%. I'm not saying get rid of them in any way. But before that, we didn't have to go to the gym to exercise, right? It's like we got it by living life. It doesn't mean that we have to stop taking care of our body. We have to continue to take care of that. And so as we begin to merge and move into new aspects of expression, those things that are essential to our support walking in this world are still important to our support in walking this world. But in our time where we've got so much more and have internalized so much less, let us not lose sight the importance of that high touch, that importance to feel and connect and spend time when other people walk away with the light, like a Monet or a Van Gogh. When people walked away, they saw something others didn't see. What is available for us is to see something that those that are caught up with the well-adjusted way of being in this world just don't see. You're being invited to get involved and to be available to the touch of the Spirit, which is light and divine. There's this beautiful story Mark Nepo shares from his book. I got this book out of the bookstore too, come think of it. But it's about a flower. It's a South American story of a flower growing out of a rock on the hillside above a worn path on the ocean. And this flower is by itself being a flower. And its fragrance is just being what it is. And as the fragrance moves, there's this young girl contemplating suicide who catches the scent of the fragrance and forgets about the suicide and begins to look at the ocean and contemplate the ocean. And there's a seagull following the fragrance of that flower back, and it's not paying attention. It flies into the only cloud in a lazy blue sky. And as it flies out of this cloud, there's an old fisherman in his boat who sees this seagull emerge out of a cloud. How it got there, he doesn't know. That he's so startled that he loosens up the tautness of his net, and all the fish under the shadow of his boat are released, and they get away. And what I guess I'm getting at is that our actions are all connected. We are all part of this one. It's like a mobile. You ever seen those like sculptures in the sky that have these different pieces hanging from the string, and you just touch one and they all move? Well, our actions, because my act does make a difference in this world, there is this ramification that moves out. And as we are willing to be a present, to go a little bit deeper and to see as God sees the presence, when others are seeing hysteria, when they're reading the headlines, when they're believing what is true is being projected through us through a corporate delivery system, as opposed to sitting down and catching the fragrance of the flowers, seeing the light glimmer off a chair, and seeing as God sees, knowing that there's a power that can heal the sick, that can part the seas, that can raise the dead. This is what we are coming from, that which is bigger than the smallness. But I'm the one who has to be present, not just holding this information in my textbook, but rather I'm here fulfilling that which is deeper inside of me, so I can have the experience of a transformation of healing in my life. Not because I'm looking for reciprocation, but because that is the natural unfoldment of the law of cause and effect. I was thinking of that time when my mom was making her transition. She came home from the hospital and spent a few weeks preparing to make her transition, and my dad was by her side. He was there 24 hours a day. It was just with her. I can remember saying to my dad, because I sure couldn't, God bless you, Dad. He said, I don't need blessings. I told your mom when I married her that I would be there in sickness and health, for good times and bad times, until death do us part. And I'm just fulfilling my promise. Talk about being available to that which is a little bit deeper. I'm not looking for blessings or anything back from God or for life. I am just fulfilling that for which I came into this world to do. And what I know is available to us to support that for which we are to do is there. There is so much more good that is available to us that for some reason we don't believe, which is why we sometimes have to be brought to our knees and our feet and have to be pushed by that sage, by the campfire, says, are you ready to go in there? If you knew what in there meant, there's no way. Yeah. But if I see as God sees, I don't see the journey or the pain. I catch the greater experience. And so I'll end with a wonderful little poem, I guess it's, or prose or something Peggy Bassett used to say as she was working with ministers. She used to say, come to the edge, the teacher said. I'm afraid, the student said. Come to the edge. I'm afraid. Come to the edge, the teacher said. The student did, and she pushed, and they flew. God bless us all as we fly. Woo. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring back to the stage Gary Lynn Floyd.
Thank you.
This is a little risk to do 2 new songs in one service, so I'm on the edge too. I started this song when my mom made her transition, and I just dedicate it to the friends of mine in the last year that have gone to that edge, the ultimate edge, and dove into the deeper field. When I dive into a deeper field of energy, when I have no eyes to see what lies ahead of me, I will be one with a vibration where boundless joy breeds wild elation. When I dive into a deeper field of energy, when I have exhausted human physicality, I will embrace my resurrection as I move in a new dimension. Trust me, I got no regret at all. Into space and out of time, I'll find my wings and learn to fly from a free fall. When I dive into a deeper field of energy, when to leave my body has become what's best for me, I will move with a fresh perception that I have known since my inception. Don't you worry, don't you fret. Trust me, I got no regret at all. Into space and out of time, I'll find my wings and learn to fly from a free fall. When I dive into a deeper field of energy, when I dive into a deeper field of energy, into the deep, into the deep, into the deep, into the deep. Bob Mathis on prayer head. So don't you worry, don't you fret. Trust me, I got no regret at all. Into space and out of time, I'll find my wings and learn to I dive into a deeper field of energy.
Gary Lynn Floyd taking us to that deeper
Thank you.
level of energy.
Thank you,
Woo!
Rebecca J.
And of
Bob
course,
Mathis.
All right. That is just amazing. Terrific. Thank you. Thank you. Woo! All right. Well, hey, this is a time of our service where we have the opportunity to share our gift, to give our offering, and know that it is an expression that comes from our heart and our soul that is overflowing. And as you give, it comes back, but that's not why you do it. That is how it works. It's without strings attached. It's an extension of your consciousness. You are the activity that Spirit is having in your life. That is the bread that is cast upon the waters that comes back. It is the law of circulation. It is your state of being that is just magnified into your life. So I invite you to listen to your heart and say yes to supporting Spirit's work that is showing up in your world at Seaside in this particular time in your life. And with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward. And I say thank you to this wonderful crew. Thank you to those who mail in your contributions when you can't be here on a Sunday. It is greatly appreciated because of that regular commitment that we have in paying all the bills every month. And those that remember us with the auto tithe, the 140 individuals that say, you know what, count me in, just straight from my world into yours. And so you see these going in, and those are the individuals that say, I support things on a regular basis. That's really important. So I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this truly is a blessed moment where the fullness of the divine expresses through each and every one of us in ever-increasing kinds of ways. For we have become that divine vortex of the abundant flow. We are that divine tap that moves and brings forth that good that is in that infinite reservoir that is forever seeking expression, and we become that life expression of God. The divine download becomes our very experience, and we become blessed and enriched and work and walk with a sense of comfort and security, irrespective of what is going on in the world, because it is within that mind of God, for Spirit is so much greater than all the particulars that are happening. So grateful to see as God sees that abundant flow of our individual lives in this moment. I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this moment of abundant knowing, and so it is. Amen. Together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Your guys from Seaside, right there. Come on. And so as I stand before this abundance, I know that it truly has blessed the giver. For each has become that vortex of that wonderful flow of that vibrant expression of affluent life, the joyous life, the life that is filled with the health and the wealth and the well-being. For I know that this gift has blessed the giver just as it blesses the receiver. This wonderful, loving gift is handled in good stewardship, and it is put forth back into the world, bringing the blessings and love to all that comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to be part of this ever-expanding, abundant wealth. And so it is. Amen. All right. Everyone, you know this is Mark Sands, your board treasurer right here. Brings a prosperity consciousness to our community, and just bless you for all the good you do for us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mark Sands. Woo, no, we're in good hands. Ever growing there. Gary Lynn Floyd, artistic director for conventions and SOAR Summer Conference. Thank you for leading it here on Thursday night as well as this morning. You just rocked the house. We love you. All right, Gary Lynn Floyd. Hey, pick up one of his CDs too if you got any left. I don't know. And Rebecca, what a joy to have you back in the house. Oh, we love you so much. And I know you're running off from Minneapolis today, and then I know you're off to Australia to gig, and so we're going to miss you, but know that your seat is always waiting for you whenever you get home. We encourage you, we love you, and we just champion you, and we're so proud of the gift you're bringing humanity with your talents. Mm-hmm. Rebecca. Dr. Christina, thank you for sharing your Sunday morning expression and leading the whole online movement for our movement. Dr. Christina. Giving us sound today is Ed. Giving the visual is Marv. Great job, guys. And to our online community, we know that you're there. Thank you for your support, for your love, for your contributions, for the telethon that you encouraged us to do in the wealthy way in which you supported that. The prayer requests that keep coming in. And I'm not sure who our online practitioner is today keeping that chat going, but we love you too. And know that our virtual community continues to grow, and we realize what's going on here is real important. But we also know that the gift that we are offering the virtual community is extremely important as well. So continue to write us, send in your prayer requests. We are here for you. And if you want to take classes, Dr. Christina is the place to go. So with that, your program, take a look. There's a lot going on. Like as soon as I'm done chatting and carrying on up here, we have got choir rehearsal going. We have got the food trucks waiting for us. We have got Conversations for God that is happening, and that's just this afternoon. Then we got Emma class starting this week. We've got the men's group breakfast on Saturday. We have got the Callie's Heart to Lead class starting. We have got a lot that is taking place here that I'm sure I'm missing some, and I'm being pointed to. Ricky Byers, obviously I don't want to miss. Barb, you got a video? We got like a 45-second music clip. She writes so much for us.
There is so much more to realize when I can see the world through
Please pour volume. It's coming right here at this stage.
To see the world through Mabel's eyes, 'cause Mabel was sanctified. Mabel, oh, saint, pray for me, sanctified Mabel.
There you go. Woo! So many of our congregational songs come from Dr. Ricky, and so pick up your ticket today. We're having an artist reception, so pick up the VIP ticket. We'll get you a free CD that night. And it's going to be a magical time. So the 12th, that's going on. Also, this Saturday, I forgot to throw out what's happening is we have the wonderful goddess concert going on with Alyssa Stoll and the Shakti tribe, and also Donna DeLore, just amazing with her kirtan band, and Callie and her Seaside Sisters are leading the opening ritual. So Saturday night here, we just have a lot going on. You can do it all. Know that. So
You know what else we have going on today?
What's that?
We're going to be honoring Dr. Reverend Christian for his birthday. So help us. Oh yeah, we have to have some treats for you.
That's good.
We have a cake here. We want to sing. Everybody sing happy birthday. Look at this beautiful cake. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Reverend Christian. Happy birthday to you. Many more.
That's a lot more candles than at the first service. You just stuck in letters out of them. Okay, knowing our good, our blessings, and our dreams are coming for this Lent season. All the good we are embracing is now ours. Hey! Cards for me too. Wow, that's a whole bunch. There were a lot of you today. Thank you. That is great. Hey, keep standing. I'll pray real quick. Get us out of here. So it's with joy. It's with love. It's with celebration. It's with birth that we begin to feel that power and that presence that is moving in this moment. Do you feel that? Come on, do you feel that? Feel that divine download in this moment, that perfect touch that is moving through each and every one. For it is Spirit that is personalizing its wonderful, loving blessings. And with that comes the ability to see as God sees. What I know right now that we are able to come from God when we find ourselves in the darkness of a cave or a question, knowing the greater good is blessing our body and our soul and our spirit. For our life unfolds with the grace and the good of God in all those perfect ways. And so right now, I know the truth of this community is that it continues to grow, it continues to expand, it continues to thrive, so we can bring forth the spiritual good for more and more individuals. For there's a healing going on in here today. Can you feel that? Claim it, accept and believe that it is yours. I do not need to tell God what to do. I begin to realize as I listen and surrender that that light of the divine is so much greater than the challenge of the darkness I may find myself in. So every prayer request that has been brought to our community, I know is now fulfilled. For our Edna Moore, who's in the process of letting go of her body in this world, Sally Crawford's mom, that she is able to embrace that light, that love, and that which is right in her world. And for Janet Molesbury, who reached out this morning and said her dad is literally transitioning today, asked for that love. I know with all of us here that love that continues to be that guiding light. For nature provides the transition from this world as easily as it does coming in. And for we all move on these wonderful currents of eternality. The immortality is our true state of being, where we know that we are able to cast those bow lines and sail off into the greater yet to be, knowing that we have so much more to bring to wherever we are in this now moment. And it is in this now moment that we feel the glory and recognize that every action of mine has a divine purpose, that truly we have come to manifest the glory of God, and that everything that is necessary for us to live our dharma and our purpose is in place, and we experience that healing, that shift, because we see as God sees, not the challenges we need to get rid of, but the greater good that we are embracing in this Lent season, that we are stepping forward, accepting these keys to healing as the natural expression of unlocking the greater good. So with joy, we go forth into these 40 days knowing the greater good is ours now. And I let go with gratitude for the blessing, the healing, the richness, the thriving expression of Spirit in our life. Let go and let God. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day. You've got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. Come on, Seaside.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Seaside, sing it from your heart. Yeah. Beautiful.
Say no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here
For God. Yeah.
And our affirmation for the week is, my life is a reflection of the divine. Together, my life is a reflection of the divine. Touch your heart and say it again. My life is a reflection of the divine. One more time like you mean it. Come on. My life is a reflection of the divine. And our song of grace.
Before we do that, somebody has something to say.
Hi, we have a very special presentation. That's why the board is here today. As you probably know, the Academy was playing around with doing a lot of different categories of awards this year, like Best Popular Picture, but then they decided not to do it. However, they got wind of our red carpet event this Thursday, and it was huge, and it was your inspiration, so they decided they should give out a Best Minister award. And so we are here to convey the Best Minister Award to the Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen.
Okay.
Oh, yes. There we go. Well, much deserved, much deserved. And our song of grace. Thank you. Oh, Seaside, you're beautiful. Yeah.
I'm living in love. I'm living in peace. I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk. God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living